Hello traders, welcome to another video on liquidation hunting. This is a series where we're looking to find where many traders are going to get liquidated, or look for when many traders are currently getting liquidated and take advantage of those traders losing money. This was also covered extensively in my price action volume guide. These are just 2 pages of something that I mentioned in my price action volume guide, where I talk about why do liquidation hunting strategies tend to work, how do we do it, and how can we stay on top of the market and stay ahead of the trend by looking to hunt other traders' liquidations. And I am now selling my price action volume guide in not only USD and fiat currencies, but you can also now pay in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. So I added cryptocurrency payments to my website. All you have to do is just click on the link in the description below to pay with crypto, and then you can pick up the price action volume guide and the exclusive access to my Discord group, where we talk about live trades and how to approach the market. So if you want to learn more about liquidations, and if you want to go a little bit deeper into price action and volume, go check that out. All right. I don't want to do too long of a recap because this is the 3rd video in this series. If you don't know anything about how we hunt liquidations or how we approach that, you may want to check out the first 2 videos in my series. That may help you out a bit. But for those who have seen the first 2 videos, or those who just don't want to click on part 1 and part 2 and watch those, then basically what we talked about was how to calculate liquidation prices. Also, we found how to find liquidation data from Twitter bots, and also how to use tensor charts to find liquidation data as well. And the 3 strategies that I talk about are magnetization. So this is where we can, if we enter a long position and we calculate that many short positions are going to get liquidated at a certain price, we can put a take profit at that price because we expect that price is going to be magnetized toward that liquidation. 2, we can set limit orders at a calculated liquidation price, just the reversal strategy. If I calculate that many traders on Ethereum are going to be liquidated at, let's say, 112.5, I could put a limit buy order at 112.5 with the expectation that price is going to quickly move down and then bounce right back up and have me in profit within a few minutes after many traders get liquidated. 3, and this is the most common strategy that I found to work well, which is trading against recent liquidations. So that's when we get a Twitter alert from one of these Twitter bots, or we go to a charting site such as tensor charts. We see liquidations occurring, and we take the position opposite of that trend. If many shorts are getting liquidated, we are going to look to short. If many longs are getting liquidated, we are going to look to go long. And the reason this works is that when liquidations occur on BitMEX, what happens is a limit order is set. So if many shorts get liquidated, they're going to be forced to set a limit buy order, up at price. And one of the better things you can do is actually to sell at that limit buy order. So in that way, you're actually taking their liquidity before price likely moves lower. Now, of course, just because a lot of traders get liquidated does not always mean that the price is going to reverse. It just tends to reverse more often than it continues moving in that direction, because the last buyers of an uptrend are typically the ones who get liquidated or forced buyers, and the last sellers of a downtrend are typically forced sellers. All right, let's go into example number 1. Now, in this video, we're going to be looking at WhaleCalls and WhaleCalls alts. I'm going to show you guys how to get these Twitter bots as well. Previously, we looked at BitMEX Rect and tensor charts. And I found that this is actually another source of liquidation data that is just as good as BitMEX liquidation data. This is looking at OKEX and OKCoin liquidations, and here is how we can take advantage of it. So notice here that 9:04 p.m., 21st of February. That's at the very bottom in the gray, right here. Ignore this. This is the local time that they're putting. We could see that 30,565 contract at 3.896 on EOS. Now, you can see here that I'm looking at EOS Bitcoin and not EOS USD. You can use either for this liquidation strategy because if EOS traders are getting liquidated, you could use similar strategies, whether it's EOS USD or EOS BTC or EOSF, because they're going to tend to move together. Now, when this occurred, 9:04 p.m. is 21:04 p.m. Military time, 21:04, 21st of February. That was right here. So it was at that price that many positions on EOS actually began to get liquidated. And what happened? Well, price went lower. And if you guys want to know the exact time that it actually did happen, that red hightail right there, that's where the liquidations occurred. Price went a little bit higher, barely higher, and then just, went back down after these liquidations occurred. So this would have been a pretty good spot to think about maybe shorting EOS on BitMEX, or if you had established a long position around here, you may want to take profit once you see these traders are getting liquidated. All right, let's go into another example on WhaleCalls. And this one, I wanted to take a page of just all of the liquidations that had occurred. And this isn't even all of the liquidations that occurred, but we can see that a ton of traders were getting liquidated on BTC USD. Let's go take a look at what had happened on BTC USD BitMEX. And this is all OKCoin liquidation data. So when that occurred, it was actually here. Price moved up on high volatility and on high volume, indicated there, and then price went right back down, fell by about 2.8%. So the first few liquidations began to occur at 8:38:17 on their local time, not on Eastern time, of course. And Eastern time is what I'm showing on my TradingView chart. But from the time span of 17 to the 25 seconds, so within 8 seconds, we actually had a ton of liquidations occurring here. And when you see that occurring, and when you get alert after alert after alert on your phone or on your laptop or on your computer, which I'd recommend setting up alerts for these Twitter bots, or at least notifications. When you see a lot of traders getting liquidated on Bitcoin here, I mean, this would have been just a beautiful spot to short, or just a beautiful spot to just exit your long, because price fell 2.8%. And it happened again. So this was the first time that it happened where many traders got liquidated. Now you'd think that after price goes down to here, some traders would be thinking, a lot of guys just got liquidated here, and now price is down to here. It'd be quite foolish, wouldn't it, to short around here and then have to get liquidated here? Well, what happened? More people got liquidated because some people try to short around here. Nope, price goes up, liquidates them, then goes right back down. They were liquidated at 8:59 a.m. on February 19th, 2019. Now, 8:59 a.m. was here, as indicated by the euro. Price went a little, just slightly bit higher, made a double top, and then crashed about, well, not crashed, but dropped about 2.5% from high, a little over 2.5% from high to low. So this, again, would have been a great spot to just short. Here we see liquidations occurring, we short. Here we see liquidations occurring, we short. And both would have worked out pretty well. And even when I looked at WhaleCalls, for the 19th of February, which I got all of that data here, I'm just going to scroll through and just show you guys. Feb 19. Well, actually, these would be Feb 19. The Feb 18. You can see that these WhaleCalls, the Feb 19 was here. You can see that typically most of these WhaleCalls here, I found that typically just price reverses. You can scroll through this data yourself, and I just kind of accumulated it and just threw it in here in a very organized fashion. But this liquidation strategy, of course, there is no holy grail strategy, and anyone who tells you that there's a holy grail is just trying to, scam you. Or there's nothing that works 100% of the time, of course. But I have found that liquidation hunting does work quite well in the market. Because typically when a lot of traders get liquidated, like here or here, I mean, price just tends to reverse and can't find any more buyers to keep going higher. But of course, do your own research. Scroll through these Twitter feeds and look to see when they worked, when they didn't work, before you make any trades whatsoever. Of course, this is not direct financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. All right, let's move on to some more. And let's move on to an altcoin this time, LTC USD on OKCoin. Now we can see that from the period of 1608 on their time to 1612, of course on their time as well, so a period of about 3.5 minutes, we had a ton of liquidations on LTC. Let's go take a look at what happened to LTC USD when these liquidations occurred. That was here. Now, the interesting thing is, you may say, well, Bennett, why don't, let's say we saw a lot of liquidations here, why don't we just buy here? Well, the thing is, we actually saw a large number of liquidations here. And what I found with uptrends and downtrends on these short-term graphs, on these short-term charts, is typically when you just get very slight liquidations, yeah, you can sometimes get a reversal. But when you get a massive liquidations, like something like this tends to lead to a reversal more than not. And this massive liquidations did not occur here. Because if it did occur here, I would have actually expected price would have gone higher, would have bounced much higher. But actually what we saw was all of the liquidations basically occurred just down here. So if you're worried about, I'm trying to time these liquidation strategies and how do I know to not buy here, but to actually buy here, look for a massive liquidations to occur. The more liquidations that occur, the better. The more traders that are losing money, such as here in these price spots, the better chance of us making money by exploiting these guys. So keep that in mind. I just also wanted to point out the LTCH19 because this is what LTC USD looked like on Coinbase. And it would have been a beautiful trade to buy around here easily. However, at the exact time that many of these liquidations occurred on I think it was OKCoin, when a lot of those liquidations occurred on OKCoin, the BitMEX LTC H19 futures contract was here. It actually did go lower. So, buying here would have not been good. Buying after the bounce and then price keeps going down, that would not have worked out well. 2020 hindsight, of course, but it just would have been a beautiful opportunity to wait for this liquidity pool for price to go just below it, as it did here, buy there, and then, sell after volume spike. Again, 2020 hindsight, but these kinds of strategies of hunting stop losses, of hunting liquidations, looking for volume spikes, they tend to work more often than they don't. All right, so we have another example here. This one's a bit more violent because you can see the volume spike was massive on BCH here. Again, this was OKEX BCH liquidations, but because some of these markets are going to be moving in tandem, we can use other liquidation data for different markets of the same base coin. We saw that at 3:29 a.m., 21st of February, we had a lot of liquidations on BCH USD, because that's why it's priced at 140.63. This is BCH BTC or BCH H19. That's why the y-axis here is showing this, because this is tethered. This is not tethered. Don't want to say that word. This coin is pegged to BTC, and this data is pegged to USD. But we can use one for the other, as I had said earlier. What happened here after this massive volume spike is, I would expect that also on BitMEX there was also a lot of liquidations on BCH here, and to give you even more confluence on other exchanges, OKEX, we had a lot of liquidations here as well. A lot of liquidations occur. What happens? Price goes up. Price goes up from about a low of about, I think that looks to me to be 351, to a high of that looks to be about 369. So that's a pretty sizable increase within one day. So this would have been a pretty good spot to buy, as you can see, because you're taking advantage of other traders getting liquidated. Here's another example of just massive liquidations occurring from 51.18 to 53.01. Now, where this occurred on BTC USD, this all occurred on OKCoin, was here. This one's a bit different, but still is really interesting, because what I found, and I touched on this a bit earlier, but I think this is one of the more important points of how do you trade liquidations, profitably without trying to short here and then getting liquidated yourself. I actually found that so many more liquidations occurred on this 5-minute candlestick. That green 5-minute candlestick had many more liquidations occur here than this 5-minute candlestick here that actually covered much more price ground. This one went from on BitMEX, it went from about 34.75 to about 36.50. This one went from about 3600 to a high of about 37.25. And from here to here on I know this is BitMEX, but other exchanges would have had similar price patterns as well. So many more liquidations occurred on that second 5-minute candle that we would not have wanted to go short on this high momentum candle that actually didn't have many liquidations. You need to wait till this massive liquidations occurs because you do not want to be the trader who's shorting right here and gets liquidated or gets SL hunted, gets stop loss hunted. No, you need to wait for, just the brutality of the market to liquidate just tons of traders before we do anything. Because when you're trading against a high momentum trend and not waiting for any low volatility pattern, you need to be very careful. You need to have a large amount of confluence in your direction if you want to trade against the market. You're going to need to see just a ton of traders getting liquidated on OKCoin and hopefully also on BitMEX. And if you see that and you think that the uptrend is over, well, then you can have the beauty of actually shorting it around 3,700 and just getting a beautiful short to take profit at many levels for just a nice profit there. So that's one example I wanted to show because it probably is one of the tougher examples for one to have profited off of. The reason being is just this market was moving so quickly. It looks terrifying to short, even though our data is telling us we might actually want to short here. B, there were actually some liquidations that did occur here. And during this time, you may have seen that these liquidations occur and said, hey, that's enough liquidations for me to short against. But in reality, the liquidations that we wanted to target were the guys who got liquidated up here. And C, of course, this is a high volatility, high volume candlestick. And these kinds of candlesticks typically lead to reversals and not continuations. So if you had bet on that and just shorted here, that would have hurt. Now, the sources that we have and that I mentioned today are WhaleCalls alts and WhaleCalls, and these are what the logos look like, so that if you when you search these or when you click in the description below, you're getting the right data. They look at OKCoin, they look at OKEX, and they report liquidations for altcoins on WhaleCalls alts, and WhaleCalls just reports liquidations for Bitcoin on those two exchanges. I found that if you pair this with BitMEX Rect, pair WhaleCalls here and pair WhaleCalls alts with BitMEX Rect, and it's just, you're going to be getting really good liquidation data. And if you would like, what I actually did was on my phone, I got notifications for these three Twitter bots from WhaleCalls alts, WhaleCalls, and on BitMEX Rect. I have it on my phone, and I just have my phone near my laptop. And whenever my phone just starts buzzing off of liquidation on OKEX, on OKCoin, on BitMEX, just all at the same time, let's say on a coin like BCH or Ethereum, then I'm going to quickly go to my exchange and look for some opportunities to trade against those liquidations. Of course, do your own research. Do what you want with this information. Do what you want with this data. These are just the patterns that I found. And if you want to learn a little bit more, again, you can look at the 2 previous videos that I made on this series. And you can also check out my price action volume guide, where I go a lot deeper into how this works and how we can consistently profit off of information like this. With that, happy hunting and happy trading. See you guys next time.